Welcome back to the Brakecast. I'm your co-host Brandon,
And I'm Jake.
and today we have a returning guest. Hasn't been on since technically March when we filmed it, but posted in May. Mr. Sam himself.
Yeah, the last time I was on here, I wasn't on
Yeah,
camera. I was
we didn't we
just
didn't
a
have
random
cameras.
voice, but now you get to see the face. This
Exactly.
is
Yeah,
me.
he hasn't been on since
I
we started with our cameras. Now.
yeah.
It's been a long time.
This kind of a cool feature, man. I kind of like the Zoom thing. I haven't really messed with it too much. I like that I'm able to wear glasses and have this crazy looking background. You see that right there?
Yeah, that's
Stock
pretty nice.
Looking
imagery
at
at
you.
its finest. So, real quick, Sam, it's been a while since you've been on the podcast. What have you been up to since the last time you were on here?
Oh, I've just got a new job. I've moved back to my hometown. Just kind of enjoying life so far. I've been doing a lot of fishing. I actually just recently bought a new bow fishing bow. I don't know if
Oh,
you knew that, Jake, but
I did
I
not
just
know.
bought a bow meant for bow fishing. That thing is nice. I haven't broken it in yet though. I haven't killed a fish with it yet, so we'll see.
All
I'll update
right.
you when that happens. But I took it out with club the other night, and I mean it shoots. It shoots, but my accuracy is not there. I just suck. So,
Hey,
fair enough.
that's all right.
but yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't really been doing much else. Yeah, been playing. I started recently getting back into Pokemon Fire Red. Been training some mons on there, and
Which one is that one? Like, how old is that one?
so it's
It's
actually a
Game Boy, right?
remake of the old version of Yellow and Blue.
Okay.
So it's a remake of that, but it was released in like the early 2000s. It was still on the Game Boy, like the
Okay.
No, I
Game
have
Boy
Leaf.
Advanced.
Yeah, I have Leaf Green from that still.
You got Leaf Green.
Yeah,
How much would you sell it for?
I don't know. Probably wouldn't
Let's.
sell it,
This
you
isn't
know?
Facebook Marketplace. This is a podcast. We got things to talk about.
All right, I'll talk about this with you in private then, Jake. We'll discuss this
All right.
transaction.
Post podcast on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, you better not put it on Facebook Marketplace for like 20
No,
bucks. It'd be
no,
a
I'm not sure I'll
waste.
sell it.
Yeah. So I guess let's just move into our topic of discussion for today. This episode is going to be all about conspiracy theories. What's
Mm.
fact? What's fiction? What's the world really like? Do we really know what's going on? Or are we so blinded by the elites that we don't know?
Oh, I think most of us are blinded, you know? That's
Mhm.
very apparent when you watch the news these days. But yeah, I don't know who wants to start us off here.
Um,
Well,
let's
we
have
got.
Sam start. You're the guest.
Oh, I mean, sure. Okay, so this. All right, this is gonna be spoilers for that new Nope movie. So like, if you have like a spoiler warning, Brandon, that you could like edit into here,
That's how you
This
want
is
it.
the
that
spoiler
is like,
warning.
Spoiler warning.
yeah.
Don't want this is a break
What?
vlog.
Spoiler warning. Spoiler
warning.
warning. All right, so in the new movie, Nope, it's all about a UFO. Well, I guess now they're called UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons,
Ooh.
because UFO was too conspiracy theorists and it discredited all those damn Navy pilots. So anyway, so it's a UAP, and you'll never believe this, but instead of it being like a ship controlled by aliens, the ship itself is the alien. Like it's a
Hmm.
living creature
Like a
and it's
transformer?
hunting people and eating them. No, it's not. It's not robotic. It's
Okay.
like it's a organic thing. The What I've seen online is that it looks, in one of the final scenes you'll see it, but it looks like it kind of looks like an accurate biblical depiction of an angel.
Oh, those
Oh,
things are
Like you ever
creepy.
kind yeah, so it looks like that. It's the weirdest thing ever, but like basically it sucks people up and eats them. It like and I'm like that's
wow.
kind of a new take, like I honestly I'm kind of thinking that's what the whole like UFO UAP thing is now. It's like maybe they're not like some sort of Chinese technology or unreleased American technology or like Russian technology or like something from another planet. Well, it is from another planet, but it's not like a controlled by other beings. It is like the ship itself is the living thing, and it's like it's here hunting people. And the thing is, it makes sense because like it goes out to farmlands where there's not as many people, and like all of a sudden these people go disappearing, and like the news doesn't really care because it's not happening in a city. Like, why would a predator go out to the city when there's a bunch of people where it can get caught easily and taken care of? Why do that when it's got easy pickings out in the middle of the farm?
That's true.
So
I mean, yeah, the main question with that is how did it get here?
That's the thing. Like, has it always been here?
Does it breathe?
It
Yeah.
does breathe. It does breathe actually in the movie. It does breathe. So like,
okay, now you're spoiling it too much.
Yeah, it's like now honestly, I just don't even want to watch it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, you
No
should
warning.
watch it. It is actually very terrifying.
No,
Like,
I was going to. Jordan Peele is an excellent director, in my opinion. He has made some great horror movies that aren't just slasher, blood everywhere, or jump scares everywhere. It's actually like creepy and terrifying.
Psychological.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, like it's like the movie itself, like there are jump scares in it, but they're used effectively. Like I think a lot of scary movies don't really use that. But like there's a scene in it, and I won't spoil that scene to you because it just like I still kind of have like dreams about it because it was so terrifying. Like it just stuck. Yeah, it was one of those scenes that just sticks with you. Like you ever had a scene from a movie that just like you'll never forget that you saw that. Like that's kind of one of those scenes where I was like, oh man, that's truly horrifying. Yeah, some dude and his wife brought their kid in that movie, and like the kid was freaking out.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was like, what? This is at like 9:00 at night. I was like, why are you bringing your kid in this movie? It's scary.
How old? Like 10?
Yeah, like 10.
Oh my god,
jeez, dude, that's why. Why would you bring your child to that?
Oh, like they were old enough to like they're big, but like they're still young enough to where like the dad will walk out of the movie theater with them on their shoulder.
Yeah, that's way too young to watch a horror movie.
It's a rated R horror movie. Like
even adults have hard times watching movies, especially like if it's directed well, like Jordan Peele does.
Yeah, I didn't watch a rated R movie in general till I was probably like 13 or so, and it wasn't a scary movie, it was the Matrix.
He had his parents with him. We don't watch rated R movies underage by themselves. Break vlog.
Yeah.
Where we don't go to rated R movies by ourselves under the age of 17.
Do you remember trying to go to a movie, like a rated R movie or something, like right after you turn like 17 and they like card you?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember
how dumb is that?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah. Look at my license. I'm 17 years old.
Like they thought they're so tough. Like, where's your ID, sir?
Let me see your ID.
Yeah, it's like, here you go.
I need to see a form of identification so you can go see this rated.
Like they have like a bouncer out there and everything.
Yeah, it's like when I posted up like, yeah, can I see some ID? Oh, you're underage? All right, just get out. Just get out.
We got Finding Dory if you want to watch that.
You thought you could bribe me? You thought you could bribe me to get in here? No, get out. Just get out.
Yeah, you don't want a bunch of like 14-year-olds making out with their girlfriends in a rated R movie.
That's right. That'd be weird. But no, that reminds me of one time me and our friend Jackson Wesley
who's on the podcast.
He was on the podcast a little bit ago. But we were at GameStop and he was trying to buy Black Ops 2 and they wouldn't let him buy it because he was 16. So I had to buy it for him.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
The employee had a power trip there for sure.
I see some ID. Oh, you're not old enough to buy this game. Yeah, you can just get out of here.
Yeah, I guess the only thing, because I can understand if you sell alcohol to people who are underage, like you could lose your liquor license and your business could go under. But like with games and stuff, what?
You lose your gamer license.
Yeah, it's like, do you lose your gamer license or like a movie theater? Do you lose your like movie theater license? There might be something, but I feel like the only one that should really be enforced, like, should be alcohol licenses and stuff because could ruin your business.
Could you imagine the cops coming in and arresting a 13-year-old kid for seeing a rated R movie?
Dude, or like an FBI raid into a GameStop.
Yeah, like you're buying a game underage. Get out of here.
Like tear gas and everything.
It's like I literally played this game when I was 12.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so you're
Half the
admitting a
people now
crime,
play
huh?
like GTA 5 when they're like 10 years old.
I know.
Dude, I
Yeah,
I
remember
think
at Zach's, so this is way back when he was 13. He got GTA 5, but he put it in like a Connect Adventures disc slot. So his mom wouldn't find it. So, he had the game disc, but he didn't have the cover for it. And he put it in like a Connect Adventures, a game that like no one ever looks at. And then we played GTA 5, and one guy would kind of have to be on alert in case his mom would come down.
didn't his mom actually come down one time and she's like, "Oh, what game is this?" He goes, Need for Speed."
I think he did. I'm pretty sure. Dude, what's funny is Need for Speed would actually work, or even if he did like Midnight Club LA, because that game's actually made by Rockstar too.
yeah, he could have said something.
That's funny though.
That is.
I think perfect segue, Jake. I think we should share your conspiracy.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
See, mine might be a little more controversial.
Break
You know?
vlog controversial warning.
Whoop,
Yes, this is a
whoop.
controversial warning here. So my theory is that COVID-19 was made in a lab and then subsequently leaked. Okay. Now
Right,
you
you
might
gotta get
think
him out of here.
Well, I
oh,
just got a
that's
text from the FBI.
oh shoot, they're gonna shut our podcast down.
Yeah.
But anyway, you might think, oh, that's just nonsense. That's a conspiracy theory, all right?
Jake, you see
But
these doctors looking at you right now?
I do. They're looking
Yeah,
at
they're
me like I'm
concerned.
crazy.
They're quite concerned.
But anyway, so you might think, that's dumb. Why would they make that? But what you don't realize is, how it started in Wuhan, China. All right. Now, Wuhan, China is home to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where they were studying the coronaviruses and doing gain of function research on them. And this was, in fact, funded by US taxpayers. The National Institute of Health gave grants before 2020 for understanding the risk of coronavirus emergence from bats. And they gave them $3.7 million. And I think it was like 600,000 of that actually went to, the lab. So, so that's like too big of a coincidence, right?
Yeah, so basically, what I'm guessing, I guess I'll plot. I don't want to say devil's advocate, but I guess sort of the safer side, not the conspiracy theory side. What I think is maybe they're giving money to study how to cure coronaviruses in case they come out, because we've had stuff sort of like that in the past with different flus and things like that.
Yeah, but it is a little strange the
Yeah,
timing of this.
I'm not saying that it's not fishy. I'm just putting out what could be a reason why. Just kind of taking a different route of like
Well, yeah,
maybe
definitely.
maybe the United States government and China were trying to figure out, oh, if this were to occur, what would happen? And then maybe something did get out, and then all of a sudden, we had the coronavirus COVID-19
Yeah.
pandemic.
No, I'm not gonna say anything for sure, but I know right here you got an article from the New York Post says
Yeah.
that the U.S. paused funding on gain of function research with influenza and the SARS coronaviruses in 2014 to determine additional oversight. So they're like, all right, we're not doing that. It's not safe. But then in 2017, they lifted the pause on it and then had some more guidelines. But they still lifted the pause. So they started doing it again in 2017. But anyway,
No, I mean, Jake, you're kind of. I mean, I've heard these same things before. Like I've been hearing it a lot. Like it seems kind of fishy that like it just doesn't really add up, and like it'd be neat. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Like, China can really just kind of cover up anything that they want to. If you think about it, like if they want to cover it up, it's going to be covered up, and like we'll never really know the true story of like where COVID actually came from, like whether it came from like a lab leak or maybe it was just some guy that ate a bat. I mean, they'll what will happen is they'll just put out data just to confuse everybody. So then it's really just a good way to cover their tracks. It's like then you have people arguing like, well, no, it's from a bat. Then you have other people arguing, no, it's from a lab leak. And then you have people that are like, no, it just like naturally happened or something. Like, they'll just, I think it's very like, it's just there to confuse people. I think no matter what, like they're going to have different narratives thrown at you no matter what, just to like confuse people from the actual like truth of where it came from.
Exactly. And you've noticed, I'm sure everybody has noticed how after like COVID's, started kind of, everything else has been crazy,
Like,
Could you
what do you
elaborate on
mean?
that?
Like, let's say Ukraine happening, all right? All the January 6th stuff. There's so many crazy things happening in the news, all these shootings, climate change. It could say that it seems like they're trying to distract from something.
Well, what do you think they're trying
I
to
don't know.
distract from COVID, or do you think they're just trying to? Do you think it's just the news being the news? Like, because I mean, me and you both know what it's like to be in the news.
We do.
It's you just kind of chase whatever story's there.
Yeah. Well,
Well, yeah, because I mean, who wants to hear about the same issue over and over when something new and exciting pops up? Like if you just sat and reported Corona over and over and over and over, and other things are happening, it would look like you're trying to cover those things up.
Yeah, well, that is what they did for like 2 years. That was what led
Because
the
the world
stories.
stopped. Like that was the one thing, the world stopped, so nothing was going on because we had all the shutdowns.
Yeah.
So there was nothing going on. COVID, dude. Oh, my bad.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was just gonna say the other thing you'll notice about the news is that no matter what, they're gonna put the most depressing story out there. Like I worked morning shifts for the news, and like it would go depressing story, depressing story, depressing story, depressing story, and then right at the end they'd be like, "Hey, it's National French Fry Day. Y'all like French fries? Have a French fry today." Like,
yeah,
it's
because what's gonna grab a title more? Grandpa,
exactly. Like it's.
Oh, my bad.
Well, the news is there to make money. No matter at the end of the day, it's not there. Like in theory, it's there for to be like the watchdogs of society. They're there to be like to hold the government accountable, which at times they do, but for the most part, what they're gonna do is they're gonna put whatever stories out there that's gonna get them the most viewers, because that's at the end of the day, that's how they make money. They sell ads that way. It's just that's how the business runs. They could share all happy-go-lucky stories all day, but I mean, the reason you don't see that is because no one watches it. And people want to see depressing stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
Like as much as you want to say you don't want to see it, people do want to see it because they want to know they want to know all the terrible things that are going on in the world just so they could start their day out mad. It's insane.
So I got two things. One, COVID-19 itself that's a loophole for conspiracy theory. You can go down really deep.
Oh,
There's a lot of good stuff. So definitely take a look at that. Because COVID-19, was it created as a distraction? Was it created in order to reduce the population because of issues of overpopulation? There's other things like that. And then with the news, one thing, the most clickable titles. Do you care if a local grandpa saves a baby pigeon out of a nest, or do you care about a child hospital getting bombed? You want the child hospital. It's horrible, but it's just like it's so bad that you want to keep reading about it. Like, oh my gosh, a child hospital got burnt, like bombed, or a country got bombed, or tear gas. Like that's crazy, but you want to figure it out, but not, grandpa saves baby pigeon. Okay, say the baby pigeon. The hospital got bombed. So, like, give me all the info. I want to see. I want to know. It's sick, but it's just what we do.
It's like a cycle,
Yeah.
People want to see messed up stuff, and then the news wants to give what the people want to see.
And in clickable headlines too. Like clickbait. Obviously that's something that I think we know pretty well. But clickable titles, like they will stretch the truth or not even have it. For example, back during the times of Trump, like every single headline would have Trump's name in it, and those would get the most clicks. And sometimes it wouldn't even be related to him. It is Trump, whatever. Then they talk about something else.
Yeah.
And with
Well, it's
COVID, same thing. COVID-19 update, COVID-19 update. Well, this is what COVID's doing in Germany. Everyone was reading all those articles because we had no idea what the heck was going on. So
mhm.
COVID was amazing for the news. It gave them so much opportunity because what else were people doing? Nothing. Sitting at home, being lazy and watching the news. Fear mongered.
Dude, it's the
Yeah.
same with like it's the same with the Ukraine war, man. I mean, like
Oh yeah.
I'm all in support of like Ukraine fighting for their freedom. Like I love the fact that they're doing that, man. Like it reminds me of our own independence, but like it became like a thing where I just felt like the news was kind of I was happy that I could like watch it, but at the same time I could also see the cynical side of like they see this as their big money maker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of disheartening thing about it is that like it didn't really like I started seeing it as more of like a this is how they're making money now. And then as soon as people stop watching it, I mean, like this country is going to lose all support, like
Yeah.
they may not, but same time that was my biggest fear was that like the day that those numbers, those views start going down for like Ukraine updates, that's when they lose the war because people aren't, the American public's not behind it anymore. So like it's just I don't know. It was just it's kind of disheartening to see that just because like that's the news has to make money somehow, but like it never feels genuine even if it is.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
if that
yeah.
makes much sense to you guys.
No, it does. And I mean, there's a lot of interesting things with the Ukraine thing, and there's many conspiracy theories you could go off of that too. One of them
Like
being
what?
that there's 40 some US funded biolabs in Ukraine.
Really?
Yeah. So that might, I don't know if that has to do with anything. I'm not saying it does,
Yeah, I actually
but
want to speak on. Oh, my
yeah.
bad.
All right, you go.
Yeah, so I want to speak on the news covering like wars and stuff like that. So, quick history lesson. I'm gonna be a social studies teacher. So, the Civil War in the United States was the first like war that was in the news, and people were seeing it. It was all over the place, and it was crazy. So, the first battle, people were setting up picnics like on the field where they were fighting, like a little bit of ways,
Mm-hmm.
but where they were fighting, because people kind of heard about it. They'd never seen it like that
Yep, I've
because
heard this.
yeah, and then all of a sudden people were getting shot at, massacres, blood, all this sort of stuff. And it was the first time people really got like to see what war's about. But as sick and as horrible as war is, it is so interesting. World War One, World War Two, the deadliest wars
Mm-hmm.
in the world. Everyone's a fanatic about them. Everyone loves thinking about World War Two. Everyone's always reading about it, and there's so much stuff that happened during that time. So it's again, people maybe it's just in our nature or something like that. As much as we hate bad stuff, it keeps things interesting. If everything was perfect, I truly believe it would be boring. We have to have terrible stuff to keep things going.
Just kind of puts you on edge though. Like you think, I mean, like I know when I was reading World War II stuff, like I was actually like kind of terrified about it. Like, because
Yeah,
I've been
Yeah.
to the Holocaust Museum before, and like that was a real eye opener. Just how like terrible
and
human
that's one
beings can
guy.
be.
That's not even
That was
Mussolini
yeah,
or Stalin.
one guy with like the whole. I mean, not even the whole nation backing. Just enough people backing him and enough people scared to oppose him. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy how that works out. Like how one person can gain so much power to where
Yeah,
like people are like genuinely terrified, even though like realistically, that person could be overthrown at any point in time.
Napoleon
Like,
Bonaparte was the
you know,
same thing. He took over almost all of Europe. The dude was a genius, and he was like not like a super physically fit man or whatever. He was just a
mhm.
great leader. Mussolini, like Japan being taken over like that. The Axis power is building up so fast. Same with Stalin after Lenin died and Stalin just rose through the ranks. He was like a secretary in the Communist Party, and then Stalin died, and he was not Stalin, Lenin, excuse me. Lenin died, and all of a sudden Stalin's like, you know what? My job is to declare the next ruler. Well, I'm just going to make myself the ruler, and then the Communist Party turned into what it was in Russia.
Yeah. And that's I've heard messed up things about Russia back then.
Yeah, and Italy
Everybody
was
talks
bad,
about like
and
yeah,
Imperial Japan.
everything was bad. Like I think there's what the conservative estimate is like 20 million Russians
Yep.
dead from their
And
own
that's
leader.
Russia,
Yeah.
not including
And that's
the
the
Holocaust.
conservative,
Yeah.
like, number.
Yeah,
So it
I
could
don't want to
be
hear the
more.
liberal number. Like
No.
that's like
We do not have a political opinion here on Break Vlog, FYI.
No.
well, that's so that kind of brings up this. I watched this debate. This like it was just kind of funny. It was between this guy who is a Marxist and the owner or like the leader of Turning Point USA. I'm sure you guys
Oh, Charlie
all know
Kirk?
call it. Yeah, Charlie Kirk. And then it was
He's got the small face.
yeah, yeah, bro.
People make fun of his small face.
He
It was a
but
meme on Reddit.
he was debating this Marxist who I mean if you know what we all know what Marxism is. It's it's basically the Communist Party. He was debating this guy and I mean Charlie Kirk was telling him, was like, that like Stalin killed around like 20 million people, or he said like he killed like 6 million people in like the mass famine in Ukraine. And the Marxist guy goes, you mean he mismanaged a food crisis? And like the Marxist guy was defending like North Korea that is obviously just mass starving people. And like,
yeah,
I mean, this guy was just, and Charlie Kirk was just so like baffled by it. And not gonna lie, like the Marxist guy, like he will like, besides his like views on things, his like really hot takes on things, he was a good debater. And like he pointed out some hypocrisies in America, but at the same time, like he had these wacky views, and it was just like, how can you like it's like two people watching the same show, but they have completely different interpretations on things. Like it was the most bizarre debate. And like Charlie Kirk was just so baffled by like this guy's like really like, I don't even know like how to describe like terrible beliefs or something. It was
Wow.
like, it was weird.
Yeah, so real quick, we are going to have a part 2, and in this second part, we are going to be talking about my conspiracy theory and going on a little bit about what Sam was talking about, just because we only have about 40 minutes on Zoom before we expire. So we will meet you over for part 2. Watch it. It's going to come out the same day.
Could I add one more little fact about
Yeah, go ahead. We only got 2 minutes.
All right. So yeah, anyway, like why would they want to release COVID or whatever? Well, there's just some effects from it that I have listed here. So the 10 richest men in the world doubled their money during COVID, and there's countless small businesses just taken out. The government has more control than ever now. Big Pharma made billions of dollars, and I mean, really, that's all you need. Oh, vaccine passports. You can identify who could be a problem or not if there is a uprising of some sort. It's there's a lot of stuff like that. But anyway, we'll see you in part 2. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts real quick, but
nope, we got to go to part 2.
Okay.
We will see you in part 2.